Welcome back to the Express at Rogers Arena for a rehearsal of Cirque du Soleil's Quidam. We're going to take you into the wardrobe area a little later on the show, but right now we're road tripping to a big bird sanctuary in Peachland, BC.
Quality Assured Collision Road Trip is brought to you by Quality Assured Collision Services and our network of 18 auto body shops across BC.
Today we're taking a road trip to beautiful Peachland, BC to visit a unique sanctuary for abused and abandoned birds. The sanctuary is called Parrot Island and it's run solely by volunteers.
This is Hannah. She's a hyacinth macaw. She's an Appendix 1 endangered species. A baby one of these would sell in a pet store for around about $25,000. Wow. And that's what's destroying them, because in the wild there's only about 200 pairs left in the wild.
Ray Parks is part activist, part bird whisperer, and all compassionate when it comes to the fate of the 80 birds at his Parrot Island Bird Sanctuary. For the better part of his life, Parks has taken care of abandoned and sometimes abused birds. Caring so much, he hasn't taken a day off since opening the sanctuary in 1996.
Hi.
I'd like to think this one's showing off because I'm...
Oh yeah, he's showing off. My wife and I come in the morning for about 3 hours, feeding and cleaning. Then in the evening we come over, my wife changes all the water. She goes around and give her treats, I go around and give my cookies and treats. And the rock and roll music comes on and we clean it all out again. And then we go over to the house and we switch the monitor on so we can hear them in the night to make sure everything's okay.
So visiting the Parrot Island Sanctuary for some, like me, but I have a hole in my eardrum, includes earplugs because it's really loud.
And out of about 340 different species of parrots, over 100 are endangered because of the pet trade. And in this day and age, with all the technology we have, for the sake of $1, we can make a species become extinct. It's not right.
What's this one's name?
This one is Mika.
Mika. Hi, Mika.
The estimate, and this is not from me, this is from other research, is about over 2 million, but that's a very, very low estimate. Most of it is because when people buy a parrot, they want something that can talk and something that's pretty and a companion. But they don't realize when a parrot sexually matures, usually 5, 6 years old, they usually pick one member of the family to be their mate, and they're usually not very sociable to other members of the family.
For folks who have surrendered birds to Ray, one of the best things about the sanctuary is the visiting rights.
It's been maybe 9 or 10 years.
And you still come to visit?
Yeah.
How sweet.
Yeah. They're so fascinating. These birds are, they're so fascinating. There's just something about them. I could, with Beak, even though he didn't like me, he was my husband's bird, my husband was his mate, and he tormented me. I learned to read Beak. I could see his body postures, and I could see the way he held his feathers, and I could read him. And I knew when he was getting ready to attack me.
Many of the birds in the sanctuary have lifespans upwards of 60+ years. Most of them will outlive Ray. Many will outlive his kids, which leads Parks to wonder what will happen to his flock.
My wife and I talk about it, and like I always say, you know, the Lord's got to send somebody else just as crazy as us to take care of him, because you've got to realize you're not going to get a day off, you know, and it's pretty hard to have someone come in and do it. I know my son could do it, or my daughter even, and but they're raising a family. You're not making money here, so you can't, you know, do that and expect to raise a family. You can't do it.
Parks encourages folks to visit the sanctuary, especially before rushing out to buy their own bird. It's kind of like getting your teen to babysit the bratty neighbor, which is usually a good form of birth control. More information on Parrot Island is available online. From Peachland for Shaw, I'm Tammy Williams.
Quality Assured Collision Road Trip has been brought to you by Quality Assured Collision Services and our network of 18 auto body shops across BC.
From the birds to the bees. Well, sort of. Up next on The Express, we're exploring options for entertaining the kids at a modern-day wedding.
Carrots Wedding Bells is brought to you by Carrots, online at carrots.com.
Hi, I'm Aubrey. Aubrey.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Wedding Bells.
I just got engaged.
And I did not.
We're on an adventure to plan the big day. Sarah knows she's going to have over 20 children attend her wedding. Now, being kids at heart ourselves, we checked out 3 amazing ideas for children's entertainment. First stop was Mad Science with Professors Potassium and Proton.
If I have you at my wedding, I feel that my groom will be hanging out more with you than me.
You can tailor a program specific to the age of the children that are coming to your wedding and also your budget.
Well, they had a tailor-made program for these 2 big kids.
Yeah, you have to let go.
It is blast off! Mine's going bigger.
Go, 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 go.
Oh, I think Sarah won.
The next great idea?
Caricatures.
All right. Corey, caricatures.
You do it so quickly, you sit there, and then you have a fun little souvenir of yourself that you get to put on your fridge.
And?
The best part about the wedding thing, they get to come and have their drawing, and they can go back to the table, and if they're sitting with strangers, they've got like an icebreaker.
I never noticed how big your nose was till the caricaturist did it.
And the kids love it.
Fortunately, I can draw so fast that the kids that don't sit still...
Like every kid, yeah.
Yeah, I can capture them in a couple minutes.
I'm the queen.
I'm a scientist. I'm a mad scientist.
We all pretend to go to the very middle of the enchanted forest today.
Another wonderful adventure is Tatiana from In the Company of Fairies.
Up through the house, through the clouds.
She had everyone transformed into fairies, and even one dragon.
Think of something you really want to wish for. Think of it with all your heart.
Being a fairy princess isn't just for 3-year-olds. We also wanted in on the action.
We were being transformed.
I'm a fairy. Fairy of weddings. Fairy kisses.
That's the most kisses I've had in a long time.
I wanted to be married on Midsummer Night's Eve, so of course my flower girls obviously have to be fairies.
It was pretty clear. At Sarah's wedding, kids of all ages would enjoy a trip to the Enchanted Forest, a Corey caricature, and the Mad Science Lab.
What's happening?
Swirl.
For Shaw TV, we're the Wedding Bells.
Carrots Wedding Bells has been brought to you by Carrots, online at carrots.com.
Magic and playing dress up. I love it. And we have more of that of the Cirque du Soleil variety coming up. After the break, we tour the wardrobe department at Cirque du Soleil.
You're Zoe, who's the main character of the show.
And dress up H to G as one of the Quidam characters. The Express. This is your local voice.
Community programming on Shaw has been generously sponsored in part by
Hairstyling and color services for Shaw TV, provided by The Lounge Hair Studio. LoungeHairStudio.com.
What's your thing?
Bugs.
Everybody's gotta have a thing.
My thing's sound effects. Here's a T-Rex.
Nobody's good at everything. Everybody's good at something. What's your thing?
Welcome back to the Express, backstage at Cirque du Soleil in the wardrobe area. I'm like a little kid in a candy store right now. I feel so happy in this outfit.
It does that, yeah.
Yeah, and who am I right now?
You're Zoe, who's the main character of the show.
It must be so fun to put all these kind of things together, and there's so many different layers, hey? So I've got the shoes and then the tights underneath.
Yeah.
On and on and on, and you're responsible for all of it?
Yes, we are. We do the costumes and the shoes and the wigs and makeup and hats too. We have altogether about 2,500 items, so that includes the costume pieces, the shoes, the hats, wigs, altogether.
Wow. To me, that's overwhelming, and I think I have a lot of shoes at home, but what's it like for you then to work in a production like this and to be in charge of like all that stuff?
It's really great. It's very busy. We have a lot of work to do, and there can be a lot of stress too, but it's really good. It's fun, and we all have a good time, and we have a laugh at the same time, and we work with really great people too, so it's good.
When you were a little kid, did you play dress up a lot?
Yeah, all the time. We all had our dressing up boxes.
It's so much fun. I just like, if I were you and this was my job, I would just always be trying on all the costumes.
We kind of get over that quite early on.
I guess. I'm not over it yet. I love this so much. I totally feel like a clown, and I want to try everything on. I put this on next, and then I'll feel more like a space invader. And actually, up next on the Express, we are heading to the H.R. McMillan Space Center for something a little different. A hammer versus a feather on the moon.
Huh. Cam? Raminder? What are you doing? Well, you see, I saw this video on the internet, and the internet, as you know, never lies. And it was this guy, and he had a hammer, and he had a feather. He dropped both of them at the same time, but they both fell at exactly the same time. But I can't seem to replicate that here on Earth.
Because what you were watching was in a video from the Apollo missions.
Apollo Creed?
No, the Apollo lunar missions.
Oh, when they went to the moon.
Yeah.
Right. So why did it work on the moon, but yet it doesn't work down here on Earth?
Well, it has to do with the laws of gravity.
Okay.
So objects of the same mass and everything falls at the same rate.
Well, but I just showed you that this, of course, doesn't fall at the same rate. If I drop these at exactly the same time, which one do you think is going to hit the ground first?
Well, here, the hammer will.
Well, yeah, that was what I was going to say, too. So what is messing up our laws of gravity here on Earth?
It's air resistance.
Air?
Yeah, so if we were to eliminate the air,
we could totally do that, except both of us would die. So we could take the air away, and that would remove the
air resistance.
And that's what's causing this feather to gently float down towards the ground, and the hammer to, oh, son of it, to fall to the ground much harder.
Yes.
Yes, that would be why that was the case. So on the moon, we don't have any atmosphere. There's no air.
Yeah.
That's why they're wearing suits, so they can still breathe. And when they drop those two objects, removing the air resistance, it falls.
Well, when Galileo first thought about this, a lot of people were against him. They thought that heavier objects fell faster. But we know that it's not true. Heavier objects don't fall faster. All objects fall at the same acceleration rate.
But for Galileo, of course, he wouldn't have been able to replicate something like this because back in his day, he couldn't have created a vacuum, and he certainly couldn't have gone to the moon. So that's probably why most people were like, he's a weirdo. But it turns out that he was right. It just took many, many years, like 400 years, before he was proven correct by the Apollo missions.
How about that? Mr. Galileo was correct in his findings.
And that's, again, a good example of how a law in a really controlled state can be proven. We just have this air around us, which, don't get me wrong, air is a great thing because it keeps us, you know, walking and talking. But as far as proving that law in its entirety, proving it on the surface of the moon, really, you can't get much better than that.
Exactly.
Excellent. So, from the H.R. McMillan Space Center for the Express, I'm Cam Cronin.
I'm Raminder Samra.
And remember, if you drop a hammer on your foot, make sure you're wearing steel-toed boots.
If you'd like to win a family pass to the H.R. McMillan Space Center, be the first correct emailer now, expresscontest@shaw.ca, to tell us why the hammer-feather experiment doesn't work on Earth. And good luck to you. You can also head to the Space Center website to find out about their upcoming spring break camps. Now, if you'd like to know what else is going on around town, have a listen, because we're shining a spotlight on local events. Build your self-awareness, connect with your community, and learn to dance at Step It Up, Movement for Growth and Change. Celebrate the countdown to Nowruz at this free event. There'll be live music and a DJ, a fire-leaping ritual, and some delicious food. Karen Flamenco presents a fiery, fresh flamenco dance interpretation of the classic Shakespearean love story, Romeo and Juliet. You can also see Cirque du Soleil's Quidam here at the Rogers Arena until March the 13th. Now that's it for today's Express from their rehearsal. I'm Johanna Warden on behalf of all of us on the show. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to leave you with a look at the local theater scene and Gallery 7's production of Quiet in the Land, and we'll see you next time.